People who generally feel certain emotions in a conversation, they tend to believe that these emotions need to be settled or regulated in a codependent way. They feel like they have to change other people's behaviors, feelings, reactions, beliefs in order for their own feelings to change. But that is a fallacy. In fact, the most healthiest approach toward emotions is what we call a self-differentiated approach. Self-differentiated approach relies heavily on ourselves sorting out our own internal emotions, regulating it by ourselves without the need of other people doing anything about it. Whether it's changing their mind or behaviors or feelings or actions or habits or anything. Those emotions can be regulated independently because they're actually created independently too. However, because we have been misinformed that our feelings are created by other people's actions, behaviors, and reactions to us, we overlook this reality that emotions are created in ourselves based on our internal dynamics, the internal interpretations, the internal conversations that we have. Many times, people are preoccupied with this literally fantasy that there is a direct cause and effect relationship between what happens outside and what happens inside, versus recognizing that between what happens outside and what happens inside is what happens in between, within our brain, within our mind. And either we believe that what happens within our mind is out of our control or under our control. And that's very important distinction to make. If we believe that it is out of our control, we have a major problem, a huge problem. Either we believe in aliens or we are believing or we are hallucinating or delusional. Because everything that is happening in our mind is actually under our control. There's no question about it. But we, again, are not used to thinking that way. We have not been educated and trained to look at the components within our brain that control everything inside of us, inside our mind. If that is the case, we need to work on that. We need to learn and re-educate ourselves to take back that control of what is happening inside our mind. And that would lead to learning how self-differentiated regulation of our feelings work. Giving ourselves full control over all our feelings, emotions, reflections, reactions, and simply just inner world. Once that happens, we are able to completely take charge of our inner health, regardless of what is happening outside. Short of, let's say, assault. That is a different story. If I'm actually being assaulted and violated by another person physically, that's very important, not just, let's say, verbally, emotionally, then certainly I'm suffering from that loss of control. Now, there are some gray areas about verbal as well as emotional impact. Again, there is such a thing called verbal or emotional assault, but many times people mischaracterize other people's expression, normal expression of their opinions, feelings, emotions, judgments, etc., as an assault. That's where we have to draw a line, and we have to be able to come to an understanding where that line is. However, most of other people's opinions, expression of feelings, expression of judgments, etc., they're simply just that. They're just an expression of their own self. They're not assaults on us. Even if they criticize us or find some fault or don't like what we do. So we need to exercise that. We need to practice it and learn how to draw that line and not read too much into it. That's where the saying comes, don't take things personally. And that by itself is an art for us to be able to not allow too much power to the opinions and judgments of other people. So bottom line, it comes down to us, how much power we give to the opinions, to the judgments, to the expressions of other individuals, even when those expressions are criticisms of our own self. We do have the ability to draw a line, literally psychologically disconnecting from their world. It's almost like an invisible boundary that we create around us and liberate ourselves from the impact of other people's judgments, bottom line, an expression of their judgments. This practice would lead us to be able to independently regulate our emotions and then, therefore, engage in a successful, effective, and fruitful conversation that we call a dialogue, even despite differences in opinions. We also increase our own capacity of listening, absorbing, and also not judging, not criticizing, not finding fault with others, but simply observing, acknowledging, accepting to some extent, and letting go.